18. Okay, this video is going to address hip external rotation. So this is one of my favorite stretches for addressing tightness in the hips in general, but specifically the external rotation of the hip joint. So if we look at the hip joint, it's this action here. So I'm turning my thigh bone out. The stretch, we sit in what's called the 90-90 position. So to do this, we get the front knee at a 90-degree angle, right angle, okay? We do the same with the back knee, and then the same with the hips. So the hips are at 90 as well. Now there are a few variations of this, but for this one, to address the external rotation of the hip, we're going to focus on stretching towards the front leg. There's another variation we can do for the back leg, which we will address in a different video. Now, once you sit into this position, you may find that your knee, if you tighten your knee, might sit up like this, not directly down on the floor, and that's okay. There's a couple of ways you can address that. The simplest way is to just put a cushion or something under your knee and then start stretching like that. You can put this leg on a box, but it's a little bit harder to set up, so I recommend just putting a cushion, a foam roller, something soft under this knee to get it down. Once we're there, you may also find that if you're tight, you might be out here a bit, so you might have to sit like this if this back hip's tight, or you might be sort of like this. That's okay. To start with, you want to grab that foot for a bit of leverage, and then we think about leaning forward. Now if you can, sit up straight. We're going to sit up straight, don't mind the cat, lamp. Once we're up straight, it actually helps to lean to the inside slightly. That's the first way of opening the hip up. Then I lean forward and I keep lifting my chest, and then as I do that, I imagine that my pelvis is like a bucket of water, and I start to think about pouring water out of the front of the bucket. When I do that, it creates a gap here between my thigh and my pelvis, and that's what we want to do. We want to create this gap in the joint to create the stretch. So we get into that position, you think chest up, you lean forward slightly, lean to the inside a little bit, and then tilt the pelvis forward, and that brings on the stretch right at the sort of top of the thigh bone, the sort of base of your butt. Okay, once we're there, we hold that for 2 minutes. At least 90 seconds, but if we can for 2 minutes. What you'll notice after the first minute is you'll start to relax into it a little bit. Your nervous system will ease off, it'll stop trying to fight. So that's a good opportunity to reset, lean to the inside slightly, retilt the pelvis, get that big stretch on. After that 2 minute period, we're going to go for what's called a Pales contraction. Now to keep it simple, I like to use this method where I push my knee down into the floor, and I think about pushing this foot down into the floor as well. Then to irradiate tension like we do with cars to the rest of the body, I push my hands into the floor, and that will typically fire up the rest of my body. Then I push that knee harder. So I'm driving that down as hard as I can now, because I really want to make this hip as strong as I can in external rotation. So we do that for 10 seconds. Then we lift our hands. Now if you can't lift both, you can just lift the inside one. We lift our hands and we actively pull the chest down towards the thigh or the shin. We pull it all the way down for 10 seconds, 15 if you can. Then we place the elbows down and we just relax over that front leg, and we stay here for 30 to 60 seconds, and we just relax, and then we slowly come out of it. Once we've done that, we do the other side, and then we want to perform hip cars on the side that we just stretched, or both sides, but mainly that side that we just stretched. And I like to do at least 3 reps, if not 5, and I really want to get some good movement with my hip cars into that hip and take that range of motion that I've just created and then go and use it. So that's a 90-90 stretch for external rotation of the hip. Get stuck in. I hope you enjoy.